guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be testing out the fairly new Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony Foundation. So the facts are that there are 18 shades of this. I have mine in the shade Golden, which is like a medium to tan warm toned shade apparently, so hopefully that's a good match for me. It comes with a pump in a glass bottle, 30 mils. It cost me £11.99 and it says that it gives you a flawless radiant finish, so I guess I'm expecting at least a medium coverage with a radiant finish. Also claims to have added vitamins and be better for your skin than no foundation, so big claim, Max Factor, big claim. So without further ado, let's whack it on my face. So as usual, when I do a foundation review, I'm using my Stila One Step Corrector for primer because this is just a standard primer that isn't going to make this foundation more luminous or more matte or do any crazy smoothing or anything that will help the foundation do something that it wouldn't do by itself. It's just going to give us a nice sort of standard base for the foundation. So this is the bottle here. It is like a glass bottom and then it has a plastic top, which I'm not really a fan of. It's got these kind of barcodey type lines. It does, like, to me very much look like a drugstore foundation. I appreciate the glass bottle, which is quite nice, but I feel like the lid is just lets it down. It does have a pump, which I do appreciate, and let's give it a good shake. So I will go in with half a face of using this sponge, and then the other side I will use my Morphe M439 brush to see which I like better. So yeah, the first thing is this sponge is like the size of my head. I mean, you can see it in my hand. It came in a really small little pot and this sucker grew. When I dampened this guy up, it was like, I didn't think it was ever gonna stop growing. It's big. So here is my foundation. I've pumped out, that's about 4 or 5 pumps on there, which isn't a huge amount. It is not moving on there at all, so it is obviously quite a thick consistency. And it does smell, but it's not really overwhelming. It just kind of smells a bit like a sort of skincare product. So let's go. Ooh, the sponge. It's really firm, this sponge. That's my first comment. Oh, it's doing quite a good job there, and my god, the size of it, it's literally done my face in about 3 seconds, so I might need to go over this with my brush or my beauty blender, because the sponge is like trying to put your foundation on with a brick. I can't understand why there are these giant sparkles. What's happening, guys? What is happening? I have never seen anything like this before. Okay. Sorry about that, got a bit distracted with the massive chunks of glitter that seem to be appearing all over my face, but maybe when we zoom in you guys will be able to see that a bit better. So it is going on pretty quickly and no sort of problems blending in. I do feel like I'm using quite a lot of product, but I don't know if that's the sponge. But seeing as though it does feel like really like solid, like a rock, I don't know how it would be soaking up that much product really. I'm taking this down my neck because, as you can see, the foundation is like way darker than my neck, but kind of a pretty good match for my body. What is with necks? Why can't they just get with the program? Be the same colour as everything else. So it's got a decent coverage. I would say this is kind of, we're currently at like a medium, but I have built that up, so I wouldn't say that this is gonna give you a full coverage if that's what you're looking for. So I'm gonna go in on the other side now with my M439. Okay, so I can't really see those particles I was talking about so much with the brush. And it is like gone on really quick and easy with the brush, so So far I'm preferring that, but obviously that sponge is not a winner for me. It's too hard. It's a little bit too big as well, like to get your hand around, to get sort of around your nose and all those kinds of things. Definitely prefer the brush, but it would probably be better if you had, you know, a Real Technique sponge or a beauty blender, which would be a bit of a better sponge. Okay, so that's interesting. So I definitely feel that I got more coverage with the brush, and I haven't noticed the sort of specks that the sponge was giving me. So maybe it's the sponge. The sponge does also really smell of like must. I'm pretty sure those speckles were coming from this sponge, because I can't see any on my hand where I just put some foundation just to see, and I can't see any on the brush side either. So I think for some reason the brush had little particles coming off of it, so don't mind that. Not sure about the shade. I feel like it's almost a little bit pinky. It's maybe supposed to be a neutral as opposed to warm, but like I said, the shade was a real struggle, so I'm not too mad at it, but I am quite olive toned, so even like yellow or orangey foundations don't look quite right on me, but I would say it's a fairly good match. So if you are around like an NC 30 to 35, this would probably be a good shade for you, especially if you are leaning slightly neutral. That is literally every last scrap of that foundation gone, and like I said, that was like 5 pumps, and it was quite a lot of product, so that's how much it's taken to build to like a sort of good medium, I guess. You can still kind of see some pigmentation on my forehead, and you can definitely still see beauty spots like pretty clearly. So to me, this is not going to go to like a full coverage. It's going to be about a medium, a kind of middle of the road medium. I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back. So here is the rest of my makeup on. I did not have any troubles laying products on top of it. I did a bit of a cream contour today, concealer, bronzer, all of that stuff, and really no issues at all. I did not set with powder before I went in with those creams and those powders, so you know, nothing was protecting the foundation from moving or anything like that, and I did not have any issues. Everything went really nicely on top. I took a flash photo to see how we're dealing with white cast. Given that it's got SPF 20, I don't think there's particularly bad white cast there at all. Not a huge issue. I've definitely seen worse, and I was definitely expecting it to be a lot worse. Let's have a little close-up look. So I don't think I've had any kind of oxidization or any sort of darkening up of the foundation as it's been drying down and everything. It seems still pretty true to shade, and it's definitely on me. Seems to be running a little cooler than I would normally like. But that is just because I am so olive, so even a sort of regular warm tone foundation can look slightly off against my body. But yeah, everything went on pretty nicely. It's looking okay. It is in my smile lines, and it is kind of maybe now exaggerating that texture on my chin. Nothing terrible, not the worst I've ever seen, but yeah, not my favorite either. It's like fairly smooth, fairly good coverage. Everything is just like okay. I feel like there are definitely better foundations out there at that price point, like better drugstore foundations out there at this point. That's how I feel. It is now 11:30-ish. So I'll give this foundation the usual sort of solid 8 hours to see how it's wearing. I've not set it, as I said, and I've not used a setting spray either. So we should just see how it copes by itself throughout the day. I'll be back in a few. Bye-bye for now. Welcome back. It is now 8:30, or just gone 8:30 at night. So this is about 9 hours in for this foundation. I just sat down because I haven't looked at it for like a few hours now. So just sat down now and like just looking at my mirror that's just down here, and I am super impressed. 9 hours in. I mean, I guess you can see from here, like contour, bronzer, highlight, blush, everything is still looking really good. I'm not looking shiny at all anywhere. there is not even like fading on my chin or even really fading on my nose, which is normally the areas that are always like a problem for me for fading, and I guess a lot of people as well. You can see under here as well where you generally see the sort of first signs of fading because there's nothing else there. And remember, I didn't set with powder and I didn't use a setting spray either. So pretty impressed, guys. I think when I first put this on, I was like very on the fence. I'm like, it's okay, you know, it looks all right. It doesn't help when it's not your right shade, because I don't know how well it comes across on camera, but my body is like more tanned and warmer. This shade, although it says golden, I find it to be at least neutral and even looking like fairly cool or pinker on my skin, which doesn't help when you're trying to decide whether you like something or not if it's not your right shade. It's definitely gone into my smile lines, and it hasn't really got any worse from when I first put it on, but it's definitely sort of visibly accentuating those because it is fully in them. But again, I didn't use, you know, a primer that would help that, and I didn't set that area either, which could help sometimes with that. As far as the rest of my sort of problem areas or my like textured areas, it's still not accentuated those throughout the day or caused me any problems around my nose area or anything else at all. And I think from this sort of distance that like you guys are, it looks so flawless, really flawless. If you're wanting quite a decent coverage, I'd say it pretty much dried down, you know, after an hour or so. It was pretty much matte, I would say. It is like a soft matte, but there's no sort of like luminosity or like glow there at all. It is probably a sort of natural at most to more matte finish once everything is dried down and everything. It does look like makeup, so if you're looking for like a foundation that looks natural or you can still see your skin or looks like skin, this isn't going to be it. It does look like foundation, and it isn't really lightweight either. I can feel that I'm wearing foundation. But as far as being really, really flawless, as far as really being very well wearing up to the 9-hour point, I'm not even seeing the start of any kind of wear problems. And as far as it not really causing any major issues that anyone else can see, when I look really, really close up, it looks ever so slightly heavy, and it looks ever so slightly sort of settled in things like fine lines and stuff like that, but no one else is going to get close enough to see that. So for drugstore foundation, I am actually really impressed. This would probably be one of the better drugstore foundations that I've tried, really up there. I probably would prefer this to like the L'Oreal Pro Matte as far as finish. I'll say there is a bit of an issue and a challenge with the shade range because there isn't that many shades, 18, not a huge number, and I tried 4 or 5 shades that were around my right range and felt like this would be the best one for me, and it's not a good match really at all. So I think shade wise there is some issues going on there, but if you can find a match for you and you're looking for a decent long wearing SPF containing foundation, I think this would be a very good choice. There you have it. That is everything I have to tell you about this new Max Factor foundation. I hope if you've tried it that it works for you. If you have, I'd love to hear how you got on with it. Until then, I'll see you in a future video. I hope. Bye bye for now.